You have a collect call from an inmate at the Washington Correctional Center. To accept the call, press 5.
There's nothing like waking up to the sound of clacking and buzzing as the doors crack in the morning after count clears. Waking up to the reality of life in prison. For some, it's just a stop along their journey, a milepost, an experience. For others, it is a revolving door, in and out, and that's their way of life, stuck in the cycle, pulling and eating away at them. And then for some, it becomes their destination, as the hammer came down and that judge issued them a death sentence. The slow way, by way of life in prison. This is The Life of aLifer by Taylor Conway.
Keep on walking down the line. Keep on walking down the line. Keep on walking down that street. Keep on walking down the line.
Hello, friends and family. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. It's a delightful day out, and I just want to say that, every new day brings a new opportunity. We have the opportunity to make a choice to do the right thing, the wrong thing, or indifferent. And what we do with our lives is up to us. And it's up to us each and every day to make the choice to do those things in our life that are going to benefit us, that are going to make us strive towards a positive direction and achieve those goals. So I think that really what I'm trying to say is that it's all up to us. It just depends on our thoughts, the way that we think, our state of mind, and being able to have control over the things that we do and not letting ourselves be lazy or sit back and be able to, not take control of our lives. And once you can take control of your lives, you can control your future. And whatever that is, whatever that looks like, it's in your hands. It's not in somebody else's hands. Regardless of your situation, like I'm sitting here incarcerated in prison, and I'm sentenced to serve the rest of my life in here. Now, I could choose to take each day and not do anything with myself. I could sit around, be lazy, eat off the state, and do nothing with my life. And that would be that. But I'm not doing that. I'm choosing to do something different. I'm choosing to do something positive with my life and something that is going to, therefore, stimulate other people to do something positive with their life. It's all a matter of choice. It's all a state of mind of how and where you want to go with yourself. Now, regardless of if I get out or don't get out, I'm going to do that. I'm going to make a difference not only for myself, but for those around me and for anybody else who could hear my story and say, wow, if this guy could do it, anybody could do it. I can do it. Because you can. You really can. It's only as far out there as you're willing to go to what you can achieve. Just reach high and you're going to get there. Having said that, coming up here in January 20th to be exact, if you're in the Washington State area and you feel like supporting people like me and many others that are incarcerated and sentenced to die in prison, there's going to be a candlelight vigil held in Olympia, Washington, which is the capital of Washington, at the Capitol building. And the candlelight vigil is going to be representing the 1,300 people sentenced to die in prison, and there's going to be a candle lit for everybody. And so it's basically in support of Senate Bill 5819, which is about bringing parole back to this state. Because if you're not familiar with it, there is no parole in this state, and there's several other states that don't have parole, even though studies show that a system that does have parole reduces actually the recidivism rate. However, parole was taken away from Washington State. Now, if there was a mechanism in place to be able to have individuals that were ready, that have actually shown that they've changed, that would not only reduce the prison population, but allow people to get out into the population that could effect change out there and potentially be able to work with other people that are going through some of the things that they went through. Like, that's one of my aspirations and goals in life, is to be able to help young kids who were like me, who were lost on a troubled path. And even though I did not commit the crime that I am convicted of, I did a whole lot of other stuff, and I don't blame anybody for me being incarcerated. I take responsibility for the actions that I have. Now, that's not to say that our system isn't corrupt, because it definitely is, and I'm definitely somebody who fell into that, and now, therefore, I'm serving a life without possibility of parole sentence. However, you know, if I do end up spending the rest of my life, I think that everything happens for a reason, and I wouldn't be the person that I am today if it weren't for these drastic circumstances. So I went through everything, and that's shaped and molded and built and forged through the fire, through the crucibles of everything that I've been through, and taken me to this direction, to this place, to where I'm at. And I just feel like I want to share that. I want to express that. I want to tell my story so that, you know, maybe if I could just help one person, if one person could see, you know, that you don't have to go through that to get there. And there's so many positive things that you can do in life that are cool, that are fun, and you can enjoy your life, and you don't have to end up behind these bars and fences, because it's a reoccurring cycle for a lot of people, especially when you get 2 years, 5 years. People just don't get it, and they keep coming back. I see them coming back time and time again, and there's nothing that anybody could ever say to them. So I try to use my situation as an example to people, like, hey, you don't got to end up like me. I mean, if you listen to the song Walk the Line by Design Conviction featuring Caleb Twidwell, you can hear that is my lyrics put into there, that Caleb, he went into the studio and recorded it and expressed it and came across and really put it into depth, and it brings it out like that. That's my story, man. I don't want other kids, I don't want other young men and women to have to follow down that pathway and end up in prison and then sitting there 14 years later thinking like, damn, why did I have to do that? Why couldn't I have ever gotten it sooner? But that's just not the way it is. The cold hard fact is, I was told before that I was going to end up dead or in prison. And guess what? I almost ended up dead, but instead I ended up in prison for the rest of my life. And now, you know, I hope and pray that someday I'll see the light of day. However, if that's not the destiny, if that's not in the cards, what I want to do is spread my message so that the next person doesn't have to go through that. Maybe they can see the light. Anyways, today we got a really cool individual that is, man, I've really become a friend of this guy. He's become somebody that not only supports what we're doing, but I really like him on a higher level. Like, he understands things. He understands what we're going through because he's spent a bunch of time in prison, and you're going to hear about that. You're going to hear about some of the great things that he's been able to accomplish since getting out. And I really support this dude. I really think that he's somebody who's going to go great places, and he has the vision, and that's why, you know, I try to find these people that are like-minded and really get to know them and get to understand them and share their story with you and be able to, you know, collaborate and work together, because teamwork makes the dream work. You know, getting together and working in unison, that is how real change is effective. And so when we can work together, that's how we're going to make things happen. And that's why we're a social enterprise and not just a business trying to make money. We are trying to actually do something with the money. You know, we are trying to not only just be in business, but we're trying to create a community. Not trying even. I even hate that word, trying to do something. We're doing it. Because you either do something or you don't do something. So we're going to keep going, and I really hope that you understand that and are able to see where we're going and get on board and support this, because we support you, you know, like-minded individuals, and being able to gather that support and work towards a positive mutual goal is how real change is in effect. And, you know, OG Omith, he really sees that vision, and he's on that same vision. So that's why I align with him and look forward to doing more projects and doing, you know, promoting him. He's working with us, and I really just support him, man. And I want to give a shout out to my boy Seth Anthony, who's out there. He's getting ready to really get on the next level with this stuff. He went and recorded his new music video for the album that drops next month sometime, around the middle of the month, he said, 2020 Vision. You know, I really encourage you to get involved with Seth Anthony, too. He's on Instagram at Seth Anthony CM, as in country music. And this dude is the truth as well, man. And so I try to bring people in here that really understand what we're doing, support it, and they're on the same type of stuff, and we support them, because that's what it's all about, the mutual support. You know, Lizzie Comas that we had on here last week, she was great at interview as well. I mean, her story is a success story. You know, she went through a whole bunch of time that she did, and a whole bunch of things that she had done in the past that she's learned from, and now she's going to school to be a drug and alcohol counselor. You know, these type of things are what is going to make an impact for the future generation of people. And so if we can all, people that have been through it and learned, can bestow that information upon those who are currently going through it, and say, hey, look, you know, maybe we can get down this path. And music and art are an incredible thing that really can open minds up. And I wish that I would have been able to really get into that earlier on in life, because that can take you down a whole different pathway. And so we encourage that, we promote that. That's what our platform's all about, is art, in whatever form that is. There's so many different forms of art, including life. Life is an art, and life is a journey. So let's get into it. Here is Mr. OG Omith, and I think we got him on the line now. Hey, all right. Here we are with OG Omith of Manifest Something Beautiful. So I got you there, OG?
Yeah, you already know. I'm happy to be here, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's a good day. I've been looking forward to this. You know, ever since I learned about you, man, I'm a big fan. How you doing today?
I'm good. On behalf of me, my other co-hosts, the rest of Manifest Something Beautiful, we want to say we appreciate you. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you allowing us this space on the platform to advertise what we got going on.
Man, no problem. You know, I'm a big supporter of people that have formerly been incarcerated, done a bunch of time, and gotten out and done something so beautiful like what you've done with you know, your company, with the way that you're able to move and effect change, and, you know, really bring awareness to a lot of real issues that are going on. You know, I respect it a lot, man. I respect it, and absolutely will have you on here, and I'd love to have you back again at a later date to follow up and see how things are going with you, because the more I learn about what you've got going on, the more I really get interested in it, because it's a great thing. You know, like, if you would kind of tell us about some of those things that you got going on.
All right. Absolutely. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you once again. And, we have a company, an independent company, self-owned. I have 4 other partners that's in business with me. And we form Manifest Something Beautiful. We are an independent company, entertainment company. We provide video illustrations. We do music. We do a little bit of everything. We provide merchandise. We customize merchandise for other independent artists as well. And we also sell our own brand that we're trying to establish called p.r.n.v.u, which my brother from another mother who just got released from prison last year, serving 24 years. I think the brother was sentenced to like 68. And I think he came home after doing 24. And actually, he just been home a year, and we're just trying to launch this brand that we thought of. Like, he thought of the idea on the yard. I was walking the yard with him back in like maybe 98. And he came out with the design, and now that he's home, we're trying to bring it to fruition and make it a real thing. You know what I'm saying? So we also have sponsorship through Honeysuckle Magazine. Shout out to Jamie, showing love. Shout out to Born Magnetic for introducing me to them people. But yeah, man, we have sponsorship through Honeysuckle, which is a socially conscious magazine that really dedicates time to unveiling the truths of people like you and myself, that ex-cons and convicts, and their trials and tribulations and their triumphs. And they really focus on the struggle of the system and the prison reform, and they focus on CBD, all the health benefits of using medical marijuana and things of that nature. So we're just trying to create awareness, and I'm just trying to attach myself and my brand to anything that's on the same path of spreading awareness.
Okay. Wow,
So
man.
we got
Sounds
a
like
project.
you got a lot. Got a lot going on, man. And sounds like it's a lot of good things.
To be honest with you, it may seem like a lot. To us, it's just not enough. This is just like the tip of the iceberg. So what I'm saying, we have a project that we released last year, self-titled, Manifest Something Beautiful. That's available on all streaming platforms. Just type in OG Audio, OG Audio _ Oner, and all the music will pop up on all the streaming platforms like YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, so forth and so on. One of our lead singles off that project was a song that was dedicated to the death to the police slaying of Mike Brown, because that's the name of the song, Mike Brown. We turned it into an acronym that meant murdering innocent kids everywhere. Brown. So it's a real touchy topic. It's really heartfelt. We really jumped in our bag and really got really emotional because it was an emotional time. I don't know if you're aware of that situation that happened in St. Louis where they killed the innocent black guy, unarmed black man. And that's when we just dedicated that song and just express how we felt and just to show love to his parents. Because me, myself, I lost my son right around that time. So it really hit home for me. My son was innocently murdered in the streets of Washington, D.C. He was murdered by his mother's husband. And the guy got off on Stand Your Ground rule. You see what I'm saying? So he killed an unarmed man and got off on Stand Your Ground. So when that happened to Mike Brown, it was like I was already emotional, so I connected right to that emotion without a problem. So we had to make a song to demonstrate how significant and how unsignificant the system viewed black lives.
Okay. Wow, that's powerful, man. Like, so you really got into that song, man.
Yes, sir. Like the opening bars is black mothers keep stressing. Nowadays they're feeling more afraid, sending their sons outside. They might fill a grave by the hands of a cop, heart filled with hate, racism. Just turn and rely on God and everything God placed in them. Those are words. Those are not just lyrics. Those are words to live by. Those are words to live by because those lyrics was inspired by black mothers after Mike Brown got killed. It was Mike Brown and Tamir Rice inspired that whole song. Tamir Rice was a kid in Ohio got killed outside playing with a toy gun. The police pulled up, and they didn't give him 3 seconds before they opened fire on him. So it's like, what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to send our kids outside? Like, women that I knew was actually literally scared to send their kids outside to play. Like, they'd rather keep them in the house and give them games and give them an Xbox or a PlayStation, because I'm like, no, send them outside. Send them outside. Don't be afraid. We just have to give them, I feel, with the proper knowledge to guard them, to deal with these situations. But no one can control the actions of another man. You only control the actions of yourself. So if it happens, I guess it was meant to be. It's sad to say. But
there's a lot of things that happen, and you know, we don't have any control over them. Just like how, like you were pointing out, different things about people dying for no reason and things like that. It kind of shows too how people are getting locked up for endless amount of years when the system in place just doesn't have a way to really be able to rehabilitate people. And even if the people do get rehabilitated, there's no way for them to show that and be able to actually say, hey, you know, these people have done something with themselves, and therefore, you know, let's hear them. Let's give them a chance to be able to rehabilitate. But no, there isn't a chance. There isn't anything like that in place. It's mostly just lock people up and throw away the key, and then the other side of it with, you know, not taking the proper steps to find out, hey, is this guy armed or is he not armed? They're just shooting first and asking questions later. You know, it's the same type of mentality to where there is no like remorse on either side of it, you know, and there's no way to really make amends or find a redemption there. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So
I definitely do.
I think
I
that
really feel, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just really feel it's the culture of the police, the way they're trained. They need to be retrained. They need to come up with something different, because it seems like they train them to be afraid. You see what I'm saying? So they're responding out of fear more time than anything. They responded out of fear when they could just, if they found a way to just reorganize that system slightly where we could have a chance. Now, I don't hate police. I know police are very much needed. With anyone who really wants a world with no police? Like, this is
that would just be anarchy.
Chaos.
Right? Yeah.
So we need they play a part, but at the same time, I want to guard. I want to arm my children or the people that I'm mostly to influence. I want to guard them and give them the right thing so that they're prepared when they're in these situations. And the main thing is not to be afraid, because we have to eat the right foods mentally to know how to navigate through these situations. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we're trying to focus on. Our music is really surrounded around message. We want to give you something. We're trying to create a lyrical, musical experience. We want to take you somewhere. We want you to feel like I'm a cousin, because you got so much familiar with my story, my trial and tribulations. You almost feel like we're relatives because you know so much about through my music. You know, so that's the temperature that we're trying to. That's the climate that we're trying to create. You know.
Well, I respect it, man. It's like, I think that there's a, on both sides of the spectrum, on both sides of the coin, there's a disregard for life, you know, and the beauty of life and what it can be. It's like, there's so many things that you can do in this life that are productive, that you can do, make money, survive, and follow and chase your dreams. Like, it really is available out there, you know, It doesn't matter who you are. You can do it if you see and you have that hope and you don't give up on it, man. It doesn't matter where you come from or where you've been, regardless of the way that the system is. I mean, look at me, man. I'm serving life without the possibility of parole, and here I am. Like, man, something that you said really, it really put a smile on my face. So, you told me something about being the realest podcast, man, because this is the only dude that's doing a podcast inside the pod.
Right.
I really appreciated that, brother.
Hey, listen, my guy. Listen, man. When I ran across you, man, I was amazed. Like I tell you, I saw the picture of you in the car. It blew my mind. I said, "Oh my God, this is genius. This is the realest podcast ever. This is the realest podcast on the airwaves. I got to be featured on it. I got to find a way to bless them airwaves with my voice and spread this gospel, you know?"
Well, we're proud to have you on here, man, and, I really like what you're doing. I think that the things that you're doing with the direction that you're moving is really, stimulating a beautiful culture as the way that your company is, manifesting beauty, right? It's like,
absolutely,
when you put that out there, and the more people that put that out there, just like the Honeysuckle magazine, man, I got to subscribe to that, by the way, man. And you got me interested to where I want to start checking it out, man, because it can go along with our magazine, the Design Conviction magazine. We got two different ones. We got the Outside magazine and we got Inside magazine. Inside Design Conviction, the magazine goes out to incarcerated individuals across the country, and we give people the opportunity to be able to get on our platform and promote their positive works, whatever it is, and a lot of it is art-based. So everything in life you can turn into an art. I believe life itself is an art, and what we do with our canvas is up to us. And through all the things that we've been through all the struggles and trials and tribulations, man, when we can overcome that and turn it into something beautiful, it's like an amazing thing, man. And so we put that into the Outside magazine. All the content and everything, we do a little contest, and the winners go into the Outside magazine, but everybody gets onto the platform if they enter the contest. So it's like, but if you get into the printed magazine, we send that out to the public, and so I think that from what you've described about Honeysuckle, man, that I think that I could really see that being something cool to work with them, or, just get ideas and feed off of that, because I really appreciate the concept of the social, doing social good, because that is what Design Conviction is. It's a social enterprise, and what that means really is that we have a social cause. Our cause is to help and inspire and try to create a platform that brings out the positive works from inside, unlocks the potential of people inside that are incarcerated to the world, bringing those designs out, as well as supporting people like yourself that have, got out and done something amazing with their lives and continue to strive towards doing good things and creating that art and making it a beautiful place to live in, so we can inspire others to really catch on. And the more that we can all unite together to really spread that message, man, and push that line, I think the more people that are going to change, and then we can really reduce the recidivism and stop sending people to prison and stop creating opportunities for cops to be killing innocent folks. And, maybe they will catch on to the message and as well do some of those things that you're talking about, like, seeing things differently and retraining and having a different perspective on things instead of approaching things from a fearful manner, just approaching things from a realistic manner. And, there's always going to be cops and there's always going to be robbers, man, but we don't have to deal with the situations in the same way, because they keep doing it the same way and it doesn't seem to be getting better, man. It seems to be getting worse. So there's got to be some change at some point, right?
Right, because I just point to over in Europe. There's places in Europe where the police don't even carry guns, and the crime rate is down. It's way lower than over here.
Right.
So they have plenty of examples that they could draw from if they really was trying to civilize themselves and try to see everyone as equal.
Yeah, man, it's you know, I just really appreciate, man, you coming on here and you know, wanting to be a part of what we're doing, believing in it, seeing the vision, because I think that you have a similar vision. And when we all come together, when all the different people that really believe and unite under this common bond that we have, and really be able to have a voice in it, and not only just talk about it, but really live it, live this, you know, change and being able to have something different, not doing the same thing over and over again. I think that it's going to make an impact, man. I really do. I believe that wholeheartedly, man. Because, like, independent, I think when all the independent artists, all the independent companies, and everybody come together and they find that common ground, and we really start moving together in the same direction, man, it's gonna people are gonna see the real, because it's real. It's not just something that's scripted and rehearsed. You know what I'm saying? It's real, and it really comes from the heart. It's not something that's trying to sell advertisement. You know what I'm saying? It comes from the heart. It comes from the minds of people who've been through the crucibles, man. You know, and I think that's really what's going to affect the change, bro.
Yeah, you're right, man. I believe that wholeheartedly. But just one step at a time, one stone at a time. We try to create our theory over here and manifest something beautiful. It's just one supporter at a time. We focus on every effort is a concentrated effort. We're trying to convert one person at a time, so that we have genuine support system. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know what you mean, man. We kind of got something similar going on with the people that we brought into our social enterprise that we have. That, you know, they really didn't know much about the whole system, what takes place. You know, they didn't really have much thoughts about people that go to prison. Well, like Candace, Salty Candace, one of our correspondents who does interviews for people that are incarcerated. You know, I'm not able to interview those people, so she does those interviews a lot of times. And, you know, her whole, you can read about it in the Inside Design Conviction, the magazine. She wrote a really nice article in there about her experience and how just working with this project has opened her mind up, and she understands what's going on and the necessity and need for, you know, something to change. And as well as like that, everybody, we're all people. It doesn't matter where you are, who you are. At the end of the day, we're all people, man. You know, and so nobody's lesser or greater. We're just all people. It doesn't matter which color you are. It doesn't matter where you're from. It's that simple, man. We're all people, and people deserve to be treated with humanity. And you know, like we have another supporter that does our graphic designs, Eduardo, and you know, this whole experience, like, he does some of the design on the magazine, and so we gave him the magazine to design our first outside magazine, and he read all the articles, man, and it really captivated him, because you can see what is happening, and you can see what these people are going through, and you get the human perspective, not just like all these TV shows that want to get ratings and they just show all the violence, you know, and they hype it up. And they make it seem like we're just a bunch of animals if you're locked away in prison, man. But at the end of the day, we're people. And if you treat people like animals, animal tendencies come out of them, right? You just keep them locked up in a cage. It's like you're at the zoo. You know, a lot of times when people come in, you know, like different visitors and stuff, where they have
where they have like tours or whatever sometimes that come through, and they lock everybody in, and then you see everybody at the window, and you see these people walking around and stuff. It's like they're at the zoo, you know, going to visit a bunch of animals.
I hate that. I used to hate that.
So if you treat people like that, that's the kind of actions that you're going to get. But when you treat people with humanity and, you know, that's a person, and you give them the opportunity to do something different, like providing a program or something, you know, providing a opportunity for learning, education, for, you know, fair treatment and stuff like that, you get a whole different result, man. You see people that actually want to do something with their lives. They just never really had the opportunity to do it, or, you know, due to ways in which they grew up or whatever their issues were. There's a lot of mental health issues that go on and stuff like that that people have never gotten dealt with. So once you're able to be provided with that opportunity, and more opportunities like that have been provided, I see, you know, for a while there, it seemed like they were just disappearing. And for people that have longer sentences, a lot of times don't have opportunities to get into those. But like myself, man, I try to find or create these opportunities because I just want to grow. I don't want to go backwards, man. You know, I've come a long ways, and I want to continue to grow. So any opportunity that we have, and it's limited, I try to do it or make my own, like doing this podcast on Lifeof aLifer and other things, like making this magazine, doing the artwork, you know, things that I have access to be able to do. I do Toastmasters, all these different programs, but a lot of times it's hard, man, to get the administration to be able to support that. You know, it seems like soon as they see things going that are going good, you get support for it, and then boom, suddenly they get taken away. You know, so
right.
It's just,
so look, I just have a question for you though, because there's a big thing out here to maintain mental health. Now, I talk to people all the time. I tell them when I was in prison, I got into an incident where I was charged with assault. Now, you in there, so you know how it goes. When you go, they lock you up, they serve you your papers, and you gotta wait for a hearing. So they have a certain amount of time to hear the case, or the case gets thrown out. In that particular case, I never got the hearing, so the case got thrown out. I still stayed in the hole for 2 years without being convicted of a charge. Now, I did a lot to fight for my mental health and to stay healthy, mentally healthy. And I know times have changed. And one thing I know about being in prison, once it only gets worse, it never gets better. So my question to you is, what are some of the things that you do to make sure your mental stay healthy? Because I know there are plenty of days that become depressing, and you have a lot going on, so I know you do all these things to sort of like keep you up, keep you going, because even though you're serving the right sentence, you sound like you come home very shook. Like, you know what I'm saying? I could not tell that you were sentenced to life because you sound so energetic. You sound so full of life on the other side when people feel like they're dead. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, once again, I just want to know, what do you do to keep your head above, or to keep your head sturdy in it? Because I know that you're surrounded by people that give up all the time.
Man, you know what, OG? I appreciate the question, man, because at the end of the show, I do a segment to where I do a question and answer, man. So now I got the question already here. So that makes it easy for me, man.
All right, okay, all right.
So, hey, man, this worked out great. And, but to answer your question, though, man, I tell you, it's very simple, bro. God, man. I got God with me in my heart, and, you know, that really gives me the peace of mind. And the other thing that I really have is, you know, I found love. I have a beautiful wife that she was able to see past the limitations of me serving life in prison and got to know me for who I am. and showed me love that I've never had before. I've never had like the love of a woman that loved me unconditionally, basically. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's got some high standards, man, but, you know, and I fall short of those sometimes. However, she still loves me despite that, and that really has made me to want to strive for more and to, you know, keep myself going, because I think that love is a powerful thing, man, and so I found, like, I've always believed in God, man, but I really accepted God and let go of a lot of the things that I went through in my past that I blamed, you know, God for or other people for, that I just let go of that. And then I found the peace within me, man, and I realized that regardless of if I do get out or don't get out, I really believe that I will, because I'm not guilty of what I'm convicted of. I did a whole bunch of messed up stuff in my life, man, but and I deserve to go to prison for a long time. But I also believe that I have been redeemed, and I'll continue to show that regardless if they let me out or don't let me out. And I'll continue to work on trying to demonstrate that and working on my appeal, because there's a lot of messed up things that happened in my case, and I shouldn't have ever gotten this life sentence. Wow. So I just, you know, I feel like my life has a purpose, and I found my purpose, and that is to share my story with other people, because really at the end of all of this, what I want to focus on is the youth, man. I want to focus on being able to share my story so that people don't go through the same things that I went through, man. And I want to make my life count for something and not just be a waste, not just dying in prison and never having anything to show for it. So I'm just going to do it regardless of if I'm in prison or not. And I find some happiness within that, and I have my wife, and I, you know, I'm able to share that with her, and so, you know, I feel like I'm living life regardless of if I'm in prison or not in prison, man, you know. So, wow. I guess that's kind of the answer, man.
And I commend you, man. I commend you because there was a lot of my brothers that I left behind that lives changed at some point. Like, I knew a lot, but it was like that I was sentenced to 15 years. But it seemed like me having a release date, I always gravitated and somehow created bonds with people that had immense time. I'm talking about people 68 years, 63 years, 120 years, things of that nature. People that let the people tell her they would never come home. And all of those guys, at some point in time, I looked at them and I was like, yo, how are you holding up? You got life plus 24 years. How are you out here with a smile on your face? They was able to dig deep and still maintain. But at some point along the way, something happened. You see what I'm saying? And there's a lot of dudes that I know that's on the other side that fell victim. They was really strong and positive at one point, and then I guess the wear and tear of the system and the people in their life and your support system start lagging and dissipate. And then once you look up, I've been locked up 20 years, and I have no one, I have no connection with a female. I have no connection with no woman. There's no male coming in. No one cares. You start to feel alone, and some people give up and indulge in things that indulge in thoughts, have thoughts that they shouldn't have. They wouldn't normally have had they had some type of support system to keep them going. So when I hear you, I know that your woman plays a big part in your mental stability in there. Because I think that was the only thing that got me through. I did 9.5 years. I did not do a day without a woman in my corner. So I don't even know how that feels to do a long stretch. by myself. So when I'm not being judgmental, I try to figure out the minds of the guys who had to really walk this path and really feel alone. And I'm trying to figure out their mindset, so maybe I can try to help them and figure out somehow to overcome that state of loneliness. Because that state of loneliness could drive a man to do things he wouldn't normally do, like they contemplate suicide and things of that nature. My closest brother that I met in prison, that we created Prisoners of Conflict, the group Prisoners of Conflict was founded by the Nature Boy DNL, rest in peace. This was one of the smartest individuals I've ever met in my life. I looked at this guy as he was the next prodigy or something. Like he was Einstein or something. But at some point, his mental health shifted, and he came home from prison, and he did all that time in prison, and came home and killed himself.
Man.
So
a lot of times people get out of prison after doing so long, and then they don't know nothing else, I think, and then they're not able to cope with it. I read this study about PTSD of people after serving over like 20 years, and they get out, and how the effects of that, like they call it what do they call it, they call it institutionalized. That's what they call it.
Yeah, institutionalized. Yeah. Let me explain something to you. I got released March 11th, 2004. I'm still dealing with something. I'm still institutionalized in a certain way, in a certain fashion, in the way I move. I still haven't gotten all of that removed. So I've been out longer than I've been in, but some waves are still a part of me in some way. I have to consciously stay conscious of the things that I do, the things that I say, and how I respond to people, places, and things, because we're in an environment where I was trained to react a certain way because of where I was. I'm in a place where you couldn't really smile, you couldn't really show no weakness. You had to meet aggression with aggression. So you do that for so long, things that's normal, that is deemed aggressive to the normal human being in the world, the civilian, you see that as like, why are you being a bitch? Like, why are you being sensitive? But in all actuality, I was actually being overly aggressive. But I'm looking at everyone else like there's something wrong with them. The people that have been in the free world, that have never been where I've been, I'm looking at them like, something is wrong with you. You're too weak. No, I was just too much. And it took me years to figure that out. I've done it at times dealing with men. I had to learn how to caress a woman. I had to learn how to deal with a woman again. So I'm used to, the only woman I ever dealt with was the CEO in the bubble. For the last 10 decades, I had to deal with that. So I don't know how to deal with, console a woman and make a woman feel comfortable and all of that. I had to learn all these things. I still struggle with that to this day. So you never know what the effects is, like the lasting effects is going to have on you after spending so much time in a controlled environment like that. Sort of like you said, I like that analogy, like the zoo. You know what I'm saying? I doubt if
you have 60 seconds remaining.
Take something that was born to be in the. Go ahead. I don't mean to talk. I know that the time is running out.
Yeah. Man, I really appreciate you coming on here, man. It was a great interview, and I look forward, OG, to having you come back and talk to us again, maybe at a later time, or having one of your partners come on here, and we can talk to them as well. And I appreciate it.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
I want to let you know that I support it all, and yeah, man, much love.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Lifeof a Podcast is the realest podcast ever, man. Salute.